Hey everybody, what I want to show you now is a resource that I've created that's going to help you kind of explore some themes and mechanics of various board games that you can draw inspiration from when kind of thinking about ideas to design for a STEAM project. So if you go to Schoology, the access code for the group is down here. And the way you join that group is you click this group button up here, and then you click the nope, just kidding. You click the join button, and then you type in this access code that you'll see down here. So 79MGS-UNZVG. So if you type that in here, it will allow you to join this group. So once you get in, if you have any questions, you can post here. I do have it moderated, so your post won't show up right away, but it will come through after I approve it, and then I can respond so other students can see. Before I get to the resources there, this is another link which may or may not work right now. But anyway, if you click on this link, it'll give you a list of probably 40 to 50 other games that you can also kind of take a look at, and those are all playable for free online. But in this, if you go to the resources tab, you'll notice that I have a whole bunch of folders with different variety of games. So you can check these out for fun if they're games that you're interested in picking up. We also have all of these available for Game Club, which you can join for Eagle Block. But if you go into them, you'll notice two links for each one. So the first link is a link to a how to play video. Click on that. It will take you to a video that kind of goes through what's like. So this is a good way to kind of get a look at the components and what the board game looks like, and what the players experience kind of when they play through it. So I'm not going to go through that whole thing, but you feel free to check those out. In addition, there's also a link to a PDF for the rules. So if you click on that, you can open and full screen these PDFs. And you can kind of get a taste for a lot of the backstory. So for each one, they'll give you some flavor text, which explains kind of the story behind the creation of the game, which is very important in theming, which is something that we'll talk about during the STEAM activity. You can get a look at the art style. So each game kind of has a unique art style, which is going to convey kind of the tone or the mood of the game. So if it's a more serious game, it'll have a more serious art style typically. If it's something a little more family friendly, it will be something kind of like this, a little more whimsical. It'll also have components, so you can get a taste for just the sheer number of components that are involved in each game. So this game specifically is largely card-based, so there aren't too many, but if you look at some of the other ones, there is quite the variety of components. Over here you can see the setup. Let me see if I can zoom in. Nope, it's not letting me zoom over there. So if you take a look at the setup, again, you can see how kind of what they call a footprint that the game takes up on the table. So you can see up here the cards and the trains and the typical components, so what it looks like. So that's something we'll have to consider if we're trying to kind of put out a prototype of our game. It has to be something that fits neatly on a table and doesn't have an overwhelming amount of components. It'll also have your brief object for the game, so what the players are trying to complete and what happens on a basic turn. So the turn phase will be here, so what do players do first, and then sequentially after that, what kind of happens throughout each turn. There's also then a thorough explanation of the rules and the scoring. So when we do ours, this is something we'll consider. I don't know if we'll quite get this far, but we will have to think about the basic rules and how to keep everything fair and balanced. There's also the winning condition, so when does the game end? And how do you calculate your scores? So all of these things are obviously very important when thinking about game design. So if you haven't played a lot of them, then this is going to be your best resource for kind of getting a taste for what some of these things look like. On this link, it has this option to full screen the directions. So again, this is a game with a little bit more components, so you can see the little various tokens that it includes, and this one actually has two different boards depending on the number of players and scoring chips, and also a whole lot of little tokens that delineate the different types of races you'll play. This game is kind of Risk-esque, except it has a little bit more flavorful characters that all have little specific powers. So again, when we're thinking about what type of game we want to think about designing, Obviously, we're not going to get through a lot of the process because it takes literal years in some cases. Um, but you can kind of go through and take a look at some of these. If nothing else, they might seem cool to you, and maybe you want to play some or pick some up. And again, I have all the ones that are in this folder specifically, but at least give you a taste of what types of games are out there, and what some of the possibilities are when thinking about a game that we might want to try to create. So I hope this was helpful.